Well, hello, my beautiful, gorgeous, wonderful, devoted friends. I'm your friend Kevin, and this is Christmas Eve 2025 if you celebrate. If you don't, it's perfectly okay. Just get your silly on, do something. I mean, really, it's kind of a season to be what I like to call bedazzled. So I have my annual bedazzled shirt on. I even looked this up. You know, there was a movie in 2000 called Bedazzled. This word, bedazzled, particularly if you're looking for a word for 2026, which I think is quite a fascinating word, really means distraction. It means being mesmerized. It means looking at things in a whole new way. This, my friends, is also a form of bedazzling, to put all sorts of adornment on things to make it bedazzled. This shirt I bought 40 years ago. I was 24 years old. You do the math. On Duval Street in Key West, Florida. It was my second Christmas in the United States because obviously I had emigrated in 85. And hadn't really adopted the United States as my kind of home. It was like I had one foot in England, where all my family still live, and one foot in Florida, where I was starting my relatively new life. It was a really kind of challenging time to not exactly feel lost, because I think now at this point in my life, I never have been lost. I've always been where I've been, and I've always done what I've done, and I've always landed where I've landed, and everything's always worked out, which is quite interesting how I should be talking about this on a channel every single day. And of course, you know, when I bought this shirt at a place called Fast Buck Freddy's, none of this internet, none of this, the internet, YouTube, all the socials, none of that existed, which is, I don't know, sometimes sometimes I think it was a little simpler. You know, if you wanted to speak to somebody on the phone, you either had to go to a pay phone, or you had the one that plugged into the wall, and the people from whatever, whether it was Bell South, Bell Pacific, or Bell, one of the Bell people came and hooked it all up. Fast forward, who knew? So, yes, being bedazzled, being distracted, being in awe of something that you really weren't expecting. I digress. I go on and on and on, but have fun this season. Really, get distracted, be bedazzled. Let's get on with the cards of the day. Here we go. That's enough of me truntering on. Right, so we got an angel numerology number 9 day. It signifies the completion or the end of a cycle. I like to think the number 9 is sort of getting your ducks in a row so that you can end a cycle. Embrace your higher purpose today. Get into humanitarianism, service to others, even if it means picking up the phone and calling somebody who might be on their own, saying, listen, just want to say, hey, let's have a little kiki, you know, wishing you well, finding out what's going on with your life. Really use the number 9 as a deep sense of compassion and empathy. And let's say at this time, universal love. I think the entire planet needs universal love. The planet needs forgiveness. The planet needs healing. Even our lawmakers and people, and I don't think it matters just in the United States. I think it's all over the world. We have these leaders that have taken temporary relief of their senses. And, you know, I suppose many don't know how to let go of control. That's what I'll have to say, and I'll be done with that. The number 9 energy is about love and relationships, encouraging unconditional love, emotional wisdom. It's a signal to end the relationships that are not working, and a call to action to speak up for relationships that you would love to see happen. Now, in the career and money aspect of your life, seeing the number 9 can be a reminder to align your career goals with your life's purpose. I'll say that again. Line up the career goals with a purpose for your life to see if they marry each other. The financial rewards will follow. I always believe that passion, what you believe in, what you love, what you want, what just turns you on, actually is the pathway to profit. Because if you do business with people that are passionate about what they do, love what they do, and get creative in it, you're more likely to invest in whatever it is that they've got going on. Now, repeated number nines. 99 is trust the process as the old phase ends and follow your intuition into the new door of your life. A triple nine, which is kind of hard to see sometimes, a major life chapter. Something is definitely coming to an end. And you need to release whatever is getting in the way to make space for whatever's coming. Now, in the rare, miraculous event that you should see a quadruple nine, that's massive. It's a transformation. It's changes that are unmistakable, undeniable. It's a huge, big whoa, we're moving, we're going. You're fully supported by divine forces as you enter this new spiritual path. Now, if you're into tarot and you have a tarot deck, pull out your Hermit card and or your Empress card. I like, if there's two cards on reference, I'm going to pull both of them. Get into the meaning of the Hermit and the Empress. The Hermit is a retreating inward, or it is, in this case, a mentorship type of energy where you are going to be sitting in the seat of wisdom. You are going to be using your wisdom acumen to inspire others. So perhaps your 2026 vision involves inspiration, motivation, most definitely healing. We must turn the corner on blame, certainly shame, most definitely judgment, and get right into forgiveness, which leads to the pathway of healing. And I'll leave all of that with you. In other words, the universe is saying, what in the world are you waiting for? Why are you wasting your time on this? Get on with it. Here we are. The moon is making her way through the sign of Aquarius. Now, the energies can be serious today because the Aquarian moon has got those cool vibes to them. It's a good time to let someone know that you care about them, that you're thinking about them, that you want to offer a little bit of love and solace. However, walk away. I would say run away. I would say pick up your heels and avoid anyone who could potentially be poking the bear of an argument. You know, there are those people that just like to take this time of the year to go on and on and on and on and on until you get to the point where you say, for goodness sake, would you just stop? I'm a little bit less polite than that, but, I do find myself retreating back more and more. The more spiritually grounded I am, the less reactive I am. And I've sort of learned to think about how I was, my old way of being, somewhere around 2010 and 11, not long ago. I was a little bit of a different person. One person in an exit interview, he had, at the time, I thought it was the unmitigating gall to call me a diva. And on reflection, when I look at how I was being, the way I was being, the way I approached things was a little bit, well, no, it wasn't a little bit, it was a lot. It was entitled. It was, I was trying to become the title of my business card, which is not me at all. And it took the rug being pulled out from underneath my feet very suddenly, at this very sudden, unexpected exit interview where I thought I had it all going on, evidently not, to make me realize that, you can go from hero to zero in 24 hours. Now, at this point in my life, I'm using each and every one of those really challenging, difficult situations to do what I'm doing now. And, A, the message is nothing is so bad it cannot change. And B, if something suddenly ends, it needed to. And that can be a really personal journey for a lot of people. When you have to end a cycle, when that cycle has got to stop, instead of wallowing and dwelling as people do on something that is unpleasant and something that's just, it's a little bit like ripping the band-aid off. You have to do it. You got to rip that thing off, and it's going to be like, oh, ouch, but it's temporary. The ouches are temporary. If you are grounded in your own spiritual solitude, if you're grounded in your own spiritual belief, if you know that you've got the universe, God the divine, Mother Mary, all of these wonderful, wonderful ascended spirits working with you, and you do, then the pathway forward is paved, because they're looking for you to lift and to shift and to move forward. And they're going to help you, but you've got to take the first step. Moving on, my isms. I believe in my own magic. I lovingly speak positive words into reality. When was the last time you positively spoke words into reality? I'm asking for more love, more romance, more business, more joy, more peace. Bring more. Just bring more. Keep on showering me with all these gifts, all these blessings. Now, if you're someone that slides down the slippery slope of saying, yeah, but I can't, because if I'm asking for more, then somebody else doesn't have enough. Woof! That stops it and sticks the brakes on. That's going to end up, if you're going down a ski slope, you're going to end up in the trees. You could end up underneath an avalanche. More. You're deserving of it. You want it. Ask for more. We are in a experience in this physical world of expansion and growth. We've done it since we were kids, babies, little ones. I mean, really, think about it. 2 pieces of DNA become you. Takes a little while, but does become you. Look at that. Look at that. Otherwise, you would still be in vitro. Crazy. Aim high, even if you miss. Reach for the stars if you want to get over the hill. All of these things. If you're not aiming high, if you're not reaching, if you're not declaring, if you're not making those, I'm done with this cycle, let's move on to the next, which is 2025, bye-bye. 2026, hallelujah, let's go. Open the door, Betty, I'm coming through. That's it. We got to get our groove on. If someone's telling you that you're not, that you're this, you're that, well, just watch me. Bye-bye. I'm gone. We have the manifesting angels here with us today. Call upon us to release your fears and open your mind to all the miracles. Let's see. Open your mind to all the miracles waiting to happen in your life. I release my resistance to change. I am excited for miracles that await me. If you're not excited about walking through the doorway to Aladdin's cave, I don't know what to get you excited about. Me, personally, I listen to music, read books, things that on a regular basis inspire me. Because if I didn't, what I'm doing with you every morning would be just completely fake and inauthentic. It just would. I have to, find ways to walk my walk and talk my talk. And yes, catch myself when I slide down that slippery slope of judgment and control. And, there was a time when I wanted to know where that was coming from. I wanted to know, well, what's going on with me that I feel this way? Now, I just feel this way. And then I just say, it doesn't matter where it came from. It just matters that I do something about it. We have to stop worrying about where something came from, who was to blame, and where we should be looking. Instead, just acknowledge, I don't feel quite right. I am getting a little frustrated, or I'm getting a little angry, or I'm getting a little, I can't say, well, the word. Just a little, ugh. You can acknowledge it. And then move on. Haniel. Trusting your intuition and psychic gifts. She's been with us for 2 weeks. The goddess of the moon, gorgeous. Shining light, love, spirituality into all the dark corners to reveal the bigger part of things. Melchizedek, I'm going to ask my friend who lives in Tel Aviv how he says that, because he told me how you pronounce it and I keep forgetting. And then when he says it, I'm going to have to say it into a recording, but he said it in such a way that was like, that makes complete sense to me. Divine knowledge, digging into your divine knowledge, digging into your, I'd say religious roots, but I am not talking about organized religion. I'm talking about your spiritual practices as being your religious root, if you will. Don't skim the surface of taking a deeper dive into these areas, because there's a lot of important information out there to support you in taking your spiritual path forward and your skills to the very next level. Now, it's quite possible, there's a very good chance that you may want to get out there and with the things you know and the things you've learned. However, a little bit of caution here. The universe, the great creator, God himself, if you will, wants you to study a little bit more before taking the leap into this unknown territory. You can get excited about what you're learning. You can get excited about weaving the ancient texts, maybe the Old Testament, you read that, into the daily life, thinking, well, this is a cycle that I can apply here. The whole point of this, the whole point of Melchizedek is when you study, you demonstrate your commitment to your spiritual path. When you're committed to your spiritual beliefs, your spiritual path, God, the creator, the universe, Mother Mary, all of those higher ascended spirits begin to present you with more and more opportunities to start taking you further on your path. Start taking you towards the feeling of fulfillment. They start opening more and more windows, doors of opportunity to your purpose. So if you're intending to work in a particular field of study or physical acumen, doesn't matter where you are, what you're doing, ask yourself if there's anything you need to know, anything you need to read up on, anything that may be missing in your studies before you move forward. I'm hoping this makes sense to you and it doesn't get you more and more confused. You know, let me get the words from the fairies and I'll finish up my thoughts and we'll move you on, because this is turning into quite a marvel. Fairies, fairies everywhere, gather, gather where you dare. Come hither, come thither, bring us a message. Gertrude, Beatrice, I miss you. I know I can feel you, but I haven't seen where you are. Oof, underneath the ground, we're getting warm, it's cold. Okay, here's the card. Stargazing. Ooh, I like this card. Here we see our fairy, the fairy of stargazing. When you gaze at the stars, you give yourself fairy focus. Your intuition will flow more freely and reveal what you need to know about your situation. Oh, I love this. I love this. You know, if you're near a window in the upper part of your dwelling and you've got a clear sky, you can easily stare at one star. And when you do it, see what information comes forward. Stargazing, I love it. You know, I go out in the morning and feed what now seems to be a colony of cats, but it's okay. They keep me safe. I keep thinking the fairies are sending you, so here's your food. This morning there were 3 relatively new kittens. I would say they might be about 10 to 12 weeks old. There are 3 of them, triplets. And then there was a large kind of Siamese-looking, Persian-looking cat I'd call him Big Daddy. And Big Daddy is quite the friendly thing. So I think somebody either must own this cat or did own this cat and turfed him out. And there's another one. But they all come to visit. They all meow, they visit. They don't necessarily want me touching them, but they're okay. Well, of course, they're going to get food. Anyway, I digress. I'm going on and on and on a tangent here. So, the fairy of stargazing is basically saying that the answers that we're seeking is in the stars, literally. This can mean looking into the night sky, that kind of thing. Particularly if you've got this magical time of year where the year is coming to a calendar year is coming to an end. Let yourself gaze up, let yourself drift, and then just ask if you've got an interest, if you want to know, if you want to get into something, if you want to find out what your purpose is. You're really not exactly. We're never lost. Sometimes that feeling of I don't know what my purpose is and I don't know what I'm supposed to do next. That right there is being present to the spirit world saying, we're going to show you, but you have to ask us. Right there, the inquiry. We have the right to inquire. They will then send that back. Usually they'll send ideas, and sometimes those ideas are going to come when we least expect it. We get drawn to something we weren't really sure what we were going to be drawn to. My example this past year was crocheting blankets and throws and getting into that crazy maniacal cardigan that I made. I mean, I got joy out of doing it, and it kept me. I don't know that that's my life purpose, to sit and knit, because, you know, every so often I get towards the end of a project and think, well, this just please come to an end. I could be a bit of a flippity gibbet. I want just get this done and over with, and then I move on to the next. It's like the tumbleweed. You may be in a purpose that takes you from where you are to where you actually are going to end up going. That's why they call it a journey. This life and adventure. And I'm going to stop yapping right now because I'm sure you've got cookies in the oven or whatever you're doing. Until tomorrow, because I'll be here tomorrow. I'll be doing this. Lots of love. Bye for now.